And Turtle, I think the main question for a lot of people here is going to be, what do FaZe have left? We already had the chance to speak to them earlier on. They look shattered coming out of their series, and you can't really blame them for it. But what do you expect to see from them? We talked about it. Is sort of the pressure off going to mean better gameplay from them, or might it be a little bit lackluster?
I'm not really sure. It's so weird because I see everybody on FaZe, and I can see it going both ways. You know, the stress, the pressure, that definitely makes you act up a little bit and kind of make a couple of mistakes that you wouldn't normally see from players like FaZe, Gyro, AJ, Illusion, but they were able to clutch it out. So I think that, you know, with no pressure, no stress, they're going to come out on fire, and they're going to start out with the first goal. Illusion, it was a little bit of a free one. Not sure what happened here to the G2 defense.
Yeah, the main challenge here might be trying to find something nice to say about how this one went in. As Illusion's going to score a very easy goal. I'm sure you would like to have seen some goals like that earlier on in his day.
Yeah.
That is FaZe underway in this best of 7 to try and get yourself through to our grand final to take on NRG. If there is anything that FaZe know how to do, it is defend. They have been doing it for a solid 35 minutes of on-field time today. And if there's anything G2 like to do, it is attack, and we're going to get a chance to see them do that right now.
Wow.
Illusion wants the challenge. Needed Jared to come in and help.
I'm actually really curious what G2 strategy we see. If it's going to be demo intensive,
if it's anything like yes, they'll be go and hit ball right there, on target in the net.
I mean, that's all you need. What other strategy is there when you have the accuracy? And you've also got Chicago. The man was shooting 1.3 goals per game against Sonics, 38% shooting accuracy. He's unstoppable. That's the guy you want behind the ball.
And it's something that we are going to see from FaZe that they are going to have to adjust to in a bit of a way, because it became a little bit of an air dribble battle for large portions of their series earlier on. Might not be quite as fortunate with those challenges in the air against G2. JNAP's choosing to back down from the rule one over in the corner. Drees. Nice challenge from him. He'll be tasked with causing the chaos that we saw from him last time out. Going to sell those chances, but right now maybe a chance over for FaZe. Nobody quite able to make contact. Gyro off the backboard. No real way of getting a shooting chance from that corner, but instead tries to set up to AJ. Pops it over the top of Drees. Goes to the demo. Air. One boost left, and he's going to need at least 1-0 at the end of that if he was to make a play.
See, AJ was hoping that he had another one of his teammates, I think it was Illusion, before coming in for the bump to get him a little bit of a boost like we saw in the previous matchup for FaZe. One of the craziest goals we have seen, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't get that team pool shot, and a demo comes out from Drees. Again, the physical plays paying dividends for G2 Esports, but we're still all tied up here, Shogun.
That is, could you imagine the future of Rocket League where one of the strategies just becomes, I'm going to jump, you hit me as hard as possible, I'll figure the rest of it out. As maybe the defense need to figure this one out a little bit more. Not the greatest ball to play when you've got your back turned, and Illusion just puts that straight to Drees. That was sloppy.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of missed touches, I'd say, in game one. It has been sloppy. I expect a little bit more of a cleaner gameplay, but I'm all here for it. I love whenever series can get a little bit more dirty and grimy, because then you just get more interesting Rocket League. It's going to be crazy, a lot of hectic moments. The demos, I think, are starting to ruin the rotations of FaZe Clan, I would say, and that's why we see a couple of unfortunate touches like that one from Illusion.
The backboard, up goes Chicago. Two players just surrounding the ball. It's going to be enough just to keep it out of the net for now. Chicago rattles the crossbar. Shot from JNAP's had absolutely nothing on it.
There's a lot of pressure on Chicago, too. Like, if you see Chicago up in the air for that shot, he's going to go in, and he has to hit it. Otherwise, the follow-up for JNAP's, it's not going to be as clean. A lot of pressure on that man.
Oh, AJ ends up just stopping the ball. Got a lot of power, actually, with his back turned. Very easy just to drop that one a little bit further away from your car and make it an easy shot there for G2, who do still currently lead by 2-1. Drees wants to make it up to 3. Not quite there, but my goodness, that had a little bit of creativity to it.
What is the goal line saves, though, from FaZe?
This is ridiculous. Numb to this at this point, Turtle.
I'm not used to it yet.
Nothing from me. You'll get used to it. We saw it earlier on when we got a chance to talk to them. They just like to, when we say they like to live on the edge, they mean on the edge of the goal line.
Yeah, literally. I mean, they haven't left their own half, it feels like, this entire time. Finally, the transition comes out, but then JNAP's gets the stop, and we're right back where we started, Shogun.
FaZe plan seems to be sit back, soak up 20 shots, win by a goal.
Yep.
As AJ isn't going to quite be able to grab hold of the ball, both players move forward as Lucian has to try and recover this play, but he doesn't have the boost to power into it. So over a minute left, and G2 still have their 1-goal lead. Lucian all the way out. Gyro just going to help it on. That might just dip in time, but Drees not going to give it the opportunity to do so. G2 defensively having their questions asked, and they are answering them very well.
And they've got the speed advantage over FaZe Clan as well in the midfield. You can see them winning a lot more challenges, very frequently coming out here from JNAPS. Even the 50-50 goes in favor of G2 Esports, regardless of who gets that touch. And JNAPS is waiting to receive that pass, but can't put it on net. But at this point, you just need to waste some time, and hopefully that ball will drop.
Chicago gets the challenge. Drees backs down. AJ, if he could have got the hit, actually, could have potentially left his team a 2v1. Not going to be the case, though, and we're still waiting for that one big opportunity. Nothing happening so far from FaZe. As JNAPS and the rest of G2 have actually had more of the opportunities since they went the goal up. That one straight on net. Gyro doesn't pick up the boost that he was after over in the corner. He just has to loft the ball up high. There you can see G2 and Chicago holding onto that midfield. They have looked imperious since they got that lead. And now one final throw of the dice, but it's not going to be good enough. G2. That was really solid Rocket League.
Oh yeah, and it was so clean, and you could see nobody from G2 got too desperate. We see teams keep all this pressure, keep all the momentum, and then all of a sudden they're itching for the next goal. We had Chicago sitting on 8 shots, 1 goal. He could get frustrated, he could be a little bit agitated and push forward, trying to overextend to get that extra security. But in this one, we saw G2 just keep the same rotations, make sure they hold it down on defense, and deny FaZe Clan from getting that transition that they were so desperately looking for.
Yeah, and for FaZe, this is a big wake-up call for them, because in the games that they were losing earlier on today, they lost them by a margin. And the games that they won, they had to scrap out, they had to be all tied up heading into the majority of the game, and then they would just get on through in the last few seconds or grab an overtime goal. If you go down against G2, you're going to struggle if you're on FaZe Clan. So make sure you stay within the game. Make sure you're heading into that final minute and a half at a tied game or with you guys in the lead. Because if you're down, G2 will just outpace you. And that game 1, I think, definitely showed that G2 do have a pace advantage.
I mean, it's a different type of aggression you have to deal with if you are FaZe. And speaking of aggression, G2, they don't stop in game 2. They want to keep it going. Look at the aggression here from JNAPS as everybody on defense missed.
Drees just jumped up and made sure that everybody on the other side of the field respected him.
Oh, yeah.
And they certainly did. So certainly a bit of a confidence booster. Hasn't been around in the pro scene for too long, but everyone respects him enough to make sure they jump up and don't let him take anything.
I mean, I think that FaZe are ready to deal with all 3 players who are aggressive from G2. You know, you're going up against Rebellion earlier on.
Form of aggression that's catching them. They've got used to 3 players attacking their side of the field. G2 are just not forcing it at all. And that backboard, they've struggled with this. They probably should have got punished for that more earlier on today, but the backboard shots weren't quite happening for Rebellion.
Well, for Rebellion, you had somebody like Rapid, who was the main factor of their aggression. You had to deal with him, and you should be smooth sailing from there. But for this G2 offense, it's like all 3 players will randomly push up and explode, deciding to go for a demo. You even have Drees, a player who likes to play pretty defensive. He's taking both corner boosts right now on your side of your FaZe Clan.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a blueprint being used from what was seen earlier on. Demo does leave an opportunity, and the numbers advantage doesn't come through quick enough. Chicago waits for the ball to be put over to him. Off the backboard, does get the clear. All 3 players working the ball out magically from their own side of the field. Drees only had AJ to beat, and unfortunately the phrase "only AJ to beat" tends to mean you're not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And AJ, that goal line defense, absolutely pristine. The man is getting every single save he needs to, but there's still a couple of opportunities. G2 Esports, they are playing that similar game that they did in game 1. They're waiting patiently. They don't want to break that rotation, make sure somebody is always in position to punish, because opportunities are coming frequently. You're taking the boost, you're getting demos. Something is going to happen on this FaZe defensive side.
JNAPS couldn't make contact, but Chicago powers the ball over to Drees. G2 not in a rush to put their players back in, and why not? Everything they've done in the midfield has worked out brilliantly for them. Gyro just wants to slow it down. It's a little bit of chaos. There's a bump on JNAPS as well. I mean, Chicago was the only one back. They couldn't find the angle to take the shot from. Now back to the midfield. Lucian too far forward. And there's just slight positional mistakes that are leaving FaZe open. They've got away with another one. They need desperately to stay away from a 2-goal deficit.
And even whenever they're transitioning out, you even saw Gyro on that carry. He had no boost to keep going and attack the backboard. The G2 backboard, while there has been space on it, they don't need to worry too much about if a touch is going to go all the way to their own backboard because there's no boost from FaZe Clan. They can't get the power. They have nothing in terms of options. And you've got AJ right here. What does he have? Actually, full boost, but he's going to make something work of it. And you got the G2 defense just taking care of business.
Lucian does get rid of it. He probably wanted to control that ball a little bit more, but the option's just not there right now. Comes back out. JNaps will leave it.
Oh, the fake
by his teammate, and his teammate ends up hitting the crossbar. G2 feel like they should have had 2 goals up by now. Unfortunately, they've not been able to finish off the opportunities. FaZe still within a chance.
Oh, that was such a sneaky play as well from G2 to go for the fake. Have one player jump up. You force somebody from FaZe to assume that shot's coming in the pre-jump, but the accuracy wasn't there. Maybe Chicago can get some revenge. The flick to the far side. Oh, no. I thought it wasn't going to get saved. I thought this one might have just slipped out, but FaZe Clan can't hold on.
All right, fair play. Drees, I see this. Almost managed to catch AJ, but for a Lucian, he just needed that ball to bounce a little bit further out of the goal, and he could have got the clear instead. It was on the line, and you can't hook your cart through that angle. So 2-0, G2 are really starting to hook everything up here. They are looking great. And
you just want to compare transitions. It's just all been G2, really. FaZe Clan, there's a couple of
they really haven't had to overcomplicate this.
Absolutely, and you said it earlier, G2 are comfortable with not forcing a player up. Like, Janap, look at the patience. This man is not rushing whatsoever. He is playing so smart, so strategic against FaZe Clan. Even when they have all this pressure, they know opportunities will eventually come because they've seen the panic they've been able to induce on FaZe's defense.
Yeah, for FaZe, you get the feeling that they're seeing ghosts on occasion, that every single time G2 are moving forward, it's going to be a power shot to their top corner, and they try and chase it down. Fortunately, it's something that they have to respect because G2 can generate that power. They're not doing it all the time. They're just trying to get a wrong-footed move from that defense. 30 seconds.
Oh, there's no boost. Everybody was just on 0. Illusion picked up the first full pad in quite some time. I mean, they are just getting starved out on the defensive side and boost, not only with possession, and they're trying to move out of the corner, Shogun. They can't even get an opportunity to move.
And double commits like that certainly don't help, even if it is only 30 boost used at either side. That's quite significant when you're still trying to get away out, as Gyro tries to add a little bit of fire to the flame. But unfortunately,
my goodness,
nothing there. G2 continue their march. They have got NRG within their sights. 2 games up.
I mean, the question is, do you go for a timeout here in this situation?
I mean, we already saw them after 2 games called the timeout last time. So it wouldn't surprise me. And yeah, I believe we have just had the call. 100% the right time for it. You can't, we spoke about this earlier. You can't go 3-0 down. It's so rare that you get that best of 7 reverse sweep. It has to be done right here. And I would have said this even if it was, overtime 1-goal games that they were losing. But given how G2 just seemed to be walking through their midfield defense, you've got to do this now.
I mean, I just feel bad for, figuring out what you have to say to these players because G2 are playing a fantastic game, Shogun.
It's one of those annoying things for FaZe, and I've got full respect for FaZe, but this team talk has probably started with, right, where do I start? And that's not really what you want to be doing. Obviously, FaZe will consider today to be job done. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, where do you think they start? I really want to sort of get an opportunity to look at the cameras because we keep mentioning this boost amount, and whenever there is problems for a team, if the boost isn't there, you kind of have to start with getting some boost because you are not capable of playing at this level without it. I just want to know, are they not getting it? Are they not collecting it? Or are they using it wastefully?
That's such a difficult question because you've got FaZe Clan who they're getting starved out nonstop. I feel like they have been collecting it when there's an opportunity, but you've got players like Dree, Chicago, and JNaps who it's not, like I said, one player is just taking all the boost and focusing on the aggression. All 3 of them, you see one player from G2 in the other half, they are focusing on taking boost. They aren't just designating that job to one specific individual. All three of them can run circles and run laps around your boost pads. And then for FaZe Clan, they want to play this goal line strategy where they're just getting the last second save. They can explode out of their own half and get a solid transition. However, they have no boost to explode out of that half and actually follow through with the plan. They'll maybe get the save, but then there's no next step planned. FaZe have got to figure something out if they want to bring it to G2, because it has been lights out for their offense.
G2 rig have been amazing so far, but we already saw today how much the timeouts can make such a huge difference. Coaches in Rocket League really have taken towards what has been something that we haven't really introduced outside of DreamHacks until this season.
I mean, it's so nice to have that mental break as a player. Whenever you're on the field, you're getting destroyed. Rocket League, as we all know, is such a momentum-based game that whenever you have 60 seconds to just relax, take your hands off the controller, and seriously think and be present with where you are, and in that moment, figure out how you can counter this G2 roster, and maybe that's a chance. And this is a new strategy that FaZe can implement. It's this aggression from the corners. Illusion is getting a bit of his hands dirty as well when he puts that one in past the goal line. FaZe, they look very cleaned up.
And FaZe just saw more of the opposing side of the field than they have throughout the entire series so far. Refused to rotate back. And this is their reward for it. As Illusion can just get that one into the net. G2 for the first time put under pressure. And they certainly were not expecting that one. They will now look to try and get themselves back into this game, starting with Drees off the wall. Gyro to himself. He did a great job of using those first touches and just recovering. He was outpacing players for plays that I think most people were looking at him just going, all right, he's done. Oh, he's there again. That's, don't know how on earth you've managed that. Yeah. That is just one of the powers that Gyro does possess.
Well, I mean, speaking of FaZe, it does look like they're being a bit more patient with the midfield challenges. I've noticed a lot of times G2 Esports will pre-jump or go up early for one of those challenges that happens in the midfield, but you've got somebody from FaZe just waiting. In the background right here, you saw JNAPS get that touch. There was a player from FaZe being patient. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't work out, but that's the strategy that got them on offense for their first goal. We'll see if that comes to effect later on in this game.
I just saw Gyro pick up the 100 boost. He's going to be pretty incremental now, so when this one go out. But when you got AJ winning those challenges, certainly does help. Lucian to the corner. Chicago already around. Passes a little bit too deep for Drees. Would have liked to just run onto a shot. Gyro up in support of Illusion. That's going to bounce open for both teams. AJ is beat to the ball by Chicago. Good pressure still from FaZe. Now they're forced to track back. Chicago wants the shot. AJ on the goal line. Does get rid of it. It was always going to be difficult to score from that distance away. Chicago. He has got support. Drees once again. This is where FaZe like to play their defense. If they can get the boost, very difficult to break down. Half the game gone.
I mean, I just don't know if they can actually get that boost. You just saw JNAP steal that corner. He's rotating out and trying to figure a strategy, but it is just too overwhelming, I'd say, for FaZe. They now get this ball out with a clear, rotate through the corner, pop out to AJ, but Chicago's there to meet him early, and we'll see if G2 can plan some kind of counterattack. They still look to be in control, Shogun. While FaZe have that win and that lead so far, I don't think it's enough to counter this G2.
Drees with the shot. What power he got. AJ on the goal line. I would agree with you, Turtle, but that sort of felt like how FaZe won all of their games earlier on today. This is the position they like to be in, according to themselves. Sure, for many people, they'd wish, maybe have the ball on the other side of the field rather than defending your own net. Hey, FaZe can do what they want to do, and what they want to do is get rid of that. Gyro just scoops the ball out of the top corner of his net. What a great save that was.
Oh, absolutely. I don't even know how that ball squeezed into the midfield for G2. But, I mean, if you're a FaZe fan, you still have that goal line defense standing strong. Nice little touch from Chicago. I love the defensive passing, but Illusion, that's a new play we haven't seen from him almost all game, is getting in front of that pass and keeping some pressure forward.
Oh, AJ. Got it past Drees. Gyro didn't want to commit too far forward. Didn't go for the shot. They're still happy with this one-goal lead. Drees doesn't win the challenge against Illusion. That midfield, I was going to say is better, but FaZe have actually got a midfield this time around, and that is, yeah, infinitely better than what they've been working with up to this point. Chicago has got the opportunity, puts it up high, does ask if AJ is going to make a mistake. Once again, AJ was good enough, and a huge miss from JNaps does help FaZe try and deal with this, as Gyro almost got over the top of Drees. Still pressure on. Back to the midfield, JNaps will pass it to himself. First touch takes the ball away from the goal. Chicago, more mistakes, hesitations, and actually that breaks down the G2 line. So a little bit of a moment actually helps out FaZe.
What just happened with Chicago? We had a clear shooting lane to put one in. There was all this pressure from G2, forced the FaZe clan defense to break down, but a complete whiff on the ball, and you're still trailing by 1. 10 seconds left. G2 need an answer. They need a striker to step up.
Back out to JNaps. Lays it across. Drees is on the other side of the field, and he can't get to it. Chicago keeps the ball alive, but not for too much longer. And FaZe Clan have managed to scrap through for their first win.
And what an awkward game it was for G2. I mean, we saw plenty of chances, plenty of opportunities. And again, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around what I just saw from Chicago. Maybe he didn't have any boost. Maybe he was a little bit starved. I saw it from the opposite side. But regardless, FaZe Clan were able to hold on.
So I want to sort of pick your brain about a situation like that, Tull, because obviously you have played at this level before. You've been to World Championships yourself. When you're playing at a level where theoretically the level is supposed to be incredible, no one's supposed to be making mistakes, and you get a big mistake like that and sort of the domino effect happens. How do you recover from that? Because nobody, all 6 players in this lobby, is expecting someone just to out and out whiff the ball.
Well, it's all about how you can control that panic emotion that happens whenever you see somebody whiff the ball, because the domino effect goes on because you see Chicago, you see a player like him miss the ball, and then you start freaking out because, oh my goodness, everybody here is whiffing the ball. How am I supposed to predict what's going on? It's like the fluidity of the game just comes to a halt and nobody knows how to react. So it's all about keeping your nerves and those emotions under control, remaining calm, and getting back in rotation. So for Chicago, I mean, we're going to go into the next game and see how he can control himself as well as his teammates, because they're not expecting him to go for another miss like that.
Certainly not. FaZe, on the other hand, probably will not add missing the ball to their list of strategies as to how they're going to beat G2. That is 1 game down, 3 more to go for them. As G2 want to try and reset. Drees to the corner, been left relatively quiet so far in the games that they have won. Chicago and JNaps have done most of the work. And that is going to go straight back out. Chicago can't find JNaps as a Lucian already waiting on the wall. So yet again, FaZe Clan taking a much more offensive line when the game is even.
Yeah, I do like that touch though from Lucian. I mean, he kept it close, was trying to go for a bit of a slower approach towards the net, but for Lucian, a lot of times we've seen him just go for one booming clear across, and he's a player who I say is a sleeper in this lobby, Shogun. You do not want to give him space as well because he's got some mechanics up his sleeve.
Yeah, Lucian sort of showed us both the brilliant and the frustrating side of himself today. You know what he's capable of, but he's also had moments where it sort of seems like the easier things are the ones that escapes him. But we all know what sort of level he brings to a lobby. Speaking of which, opportunity to try and find AJ. Well played by Drees. And actually, it's ball bounced over to Chicago. Gets the
double?
The backboard.
Oh my
And
goodness.
that was torturously slow into the net.
I mean, this all started with Drees reading the defensive line and knowing exactly where FaZe want to pass the ball. Chicago, it's a slow double tap, but as long as it's on target, that one's falling in.
It's the adjustment that we've seen coming more and more frequent over the past few months. Players are not trying to outpace when that ball bounces off the backboard anymore. They are trying to predict where that shot is trying to go and just hook the car back around in front of where the ball's supposed to go. It's good. I really enjoyed seeing it so far, and Drees played it to perfection that time round.
Well, and even in that situation for Drees, the fact that he's able to make that interception alone is great. But what does he do as well? He gets the pass across and gives Chicago an opportunity to get a counterattack. That is just such a layered and detailed play from Drees, a player who definitely has blossomed into his own. And it's just great to see him performing this well with such little practice with this G2 roster.
He was thrown right into the shark pool right towards the tail end of the season with a team that still needed to try and grab themselves that top 6 spot to go to the championships. Drees has certainly done his part. And there's AJ. Not a good hit from him. That was wasteful right into Chicago. And immediately G2 back on the pressure as Dries takes his time. And Dries not going for the challenge, feints it out, and allows JNAPS and Chicago to get back into rotation.
And Chicago's been getting more and more hungry for a demo. We saw JNAPS with a little solo attempts, maybe a little air dribbles, trying to stall out as much time for Chicago to get the bump. And I'm on Chicago's cam right now. He has been aggressive, and JNAPS has been flawless in the midfield, winning these challenges. The double commit comes out. All you've got to do is make sure this one's on target as well. 2 goals now for G2 that just slowly fall in because they're able to capitalize and punish this FaZe defense.
FaZe really struggling when they're down a goal. Whenever they're at the even game, they look really good, but then suddenly weird mistakes that don't happen when they're right in the thick of a game suddenly start just to pop up. Between that double commit, having a player that really was just never in a position to recover for them. It's another unnecessary goal to concede, and that's also adding on to the poor clears that could have very easily got them out of that danger way beforehand. AJ waiting on the other side of the field. He's not going to receive the ball. Might still get a chance as everybody's whiffing it. And there's the domino effect used to great extent by FaZe.
Well, this is what I was talking about. Your Dries and net, you see AJ, a player with insane mechanics, go up, and it was a little bit of a fake. I think that was actually on purpose from AJ. Regardless, though, you have to go for the pre-jump if you're Dries. Yeah, you get baited out. There's no chance, and a nice, easy follow-up for FaZe.
AJ just managed to matrix his way around the ball, and everybody expected him to get the hit. So, lead cut down to 1 here. 100 seconds left on the clock. We already see FaZe trying to collide into one another over in the corner. No more of that. AJ does have Gyro. He will be the first one to it, but that was asking an awful lot of himself mechanically. I'm sure Gyro will always say he could manage it. But not that time around, as we immediately see FaZe back under defensive pressure off the backboard. That is a good play from Illusion, but he doesn't want to hit the ceiling. That last few, not enough power. This one hits the ceiling. When you do that, the ball drops straight back down for whoever's waiting for it in the midfield.
Well, we're back into this corner play now from G2 Esports. They're going from side to side on the pitch, wasting as much time as they can. Janus, maybe a flip reset will lead into something here. But of course, you've got an answer from Chicago. Okay, this looks good. 2v1 situation. The fake from Gyro absolutely dismantled the defense, and we're tied up.
That is the nutmeg right there.
Oh, man.
Over the top, Dries goes. And that is going to be one that he's not going to want to see yet again.
That's back-to-back mind games from Dries, where he is in the back of the net trying to predict what's going to happen from G2, or excuse me, from FaZe, and he has no answer. I mean, what are you going to do in that situation, Shogun?
Well, unfortunately, I think the first thing you're going to do is going to try and skip replay.
Yeah.
But if I was him, a thought of his own, obviously, the fake yet again so strong for FaZe. The power of not hitting the ball coming into play here in our semi-finals. Chicago wants the pinch, not going to find it. AJ, decent clear from him. Back into the midfield. That's one that Gyro can just run onto. A 2-goal lead has just disappeared for G2, and it might actually be the game away after we do see the attempt from the ceiling. Not quite able to find a teammate. One more opportunity here. FaZe growing into this series step by step, and now they're an overtime away from tying us up.
And now I feel for Dries. I'm wondering if we go into this OT, you know, are the nerves going to be too much for him? That's 2 goals where he's been last back, and again, the whiff from G2 Esports. They can't make contact, and straight off the kickoff, you got FaZe Clan scoring.
Gyro, hat-trick hero for him. But for G2, they got faked out on 2 of them and a kickoff for the 3rd.
Well, I don't even know what to say about this. This felt like a G2 win. As simple as that statement is.
Like, they went 2 goals up. We were talking like FaZe haven't looked good at all when they're trying to chase a game. Apparently, not an issue anymore. The timeout has once again proven massive. And for G2, I haven't heard any shout of them using theirs yet.
I mean, this was the entire time. It felt like it was in favor of G2. They had the corner play. They had most of the boost game down. It just came into this 1v1 situation for Drees where he has to somehow pick up the pieces that Chicago and JNAPS are leaving him.
Yeah, for Drees, the worst thing you can do there is not go for the challenge.
Oh, man.
Like, yes, it doesn't look great having the ball just go straight underneath you, and maybe there was a way of trying to time it a little bit better. But in his mind, he's probably thinking, challenge is coming in.
Yeah.
I need to get a good enough challenge here that the ball isn't just going to stop still and we're waiting to see who can get the ball to the next. So
it's hard to blame him, though. You know, you've got Drees back alone on defense, and so far this series has just been go, go, go. Everybody, that rotation does not slow down from FaZe Clan, but after the timeout, we've seen them take a more patient approach. We'll see if that continues here in this next game.
Off the backboard, FaZe running a 2-game streak for themselves as Drees backflips away from JNAPS' touch. AJ, good setup for himself. Second touch took the ball away from him. And the bump onto his car makes it even more unlikely. Now off the backboard, awkward bounce. Everybody had been used at that point, so no real shot to put something on net. Chicago recovers well on the wall after being bumped.
Nice little demo there.
The series has pretty much all been about here, Turtle. Make sure you recover well whenever things aren't going your way.
Oh, yeah. It's been good aggression there from JNAPS, too. Starting out strong. I think he's a little bit upset about that previous kickoff goal. I'd be frustrated as well, but Illusion is trying to land on something here. We haven't seen too many mechanics out of FaZe Clan. It's weird. Like you said, those last 3 goals that we saw in the previous game, I mean, they earned them, but it's nothing too spectacular or flashy. At the end of the day, it was just G2 beating themselves at their own game.
Drees, midfield for Chicago. He has managed to win the race. Clean is off the poster for Drees. That was the worst possible bounce. Had it sorted out. Now we get to the other side of the field. AJ on the counter
no way.
And if you weren't tilted before, you're at the 90-degree angle now.
And it happens to none other than Drees, the man who's been stuck alone on defense. He gets that opportunity. The worst bounce possible occurs, and you're rushing back. But FaZe Clan were ready to punish and get that counterattack started.
Well, if there's ever going to be a question of the mentality of the new player.
Oh, my goodness. What is happening?
Oh, I mean, we can sit here and watch it again. I'm sure AJ would love us to. We call this AJ
Oh,
Phil.
come on, man. Come on. Double wave dash. You wave dash on the ceiling, and then you land and get another wave dash. What is going on? AJ, that's too much.
AJ, that was 1 wave dash away from his actual target.
Yeah. You know, it was decent. In his words, decent.
Rocket League players don't tend to do a great job of giving themselves credit, do they? By the way, great goal from AJ, something that has maybe been missing today. And in a series that G2 were commanding for the first 10 minutes. And now looking like they were going to be against double match point.
Okay, Illusion. Got some space. Let's see what he does with it. Big little clear to the other side, or big clear to the other side, but he has a little bit of boost in the tank. He's able to pick up the corner. And now it seems like FaZe, they've got confidence. 2-goal lead. They are just keeping this ball trapped in the G2 half.
Yeah, for FaZe, with the way they defend, boost or no boost, they tend to limit it to 1 goal when they're in this sort of position. G2 need 2. Gyro will clear yet again. Those power clears starting to get dialed in a little bit. Wasn't there earlier on this series. Another one doesn't even hit the ceiling. And you can see the distance that they're getting. Forces G2 just to track back, get everyone reset. And for G2, a team that want to score, you know, sometimes they can have a player too far forward. That's off the post yet again.
There it is.
And Drees, finally, the bounce goes his way.
He says, thank you very much. I will take this. The bounce doesn't go all the way to the other side, and it's manageable for him to get that prediction. And he's been in the right spot. I mean, you can't really blame him for what's happened to G2. He has been in position, ready to capitalize, but this time he does get the fortunate boost.
Early challenge from Illusion as Gyro had an I think I can moment, and unfortunately he couldn't. His team is under pressure and the lead is gone.
Can we just talk about the awareness from Chicago right now to get this pass into the midfield? He sees FaZe Clan scrambling on defense, and a lot of times a striker like Chicago will go for that instant shot. But no, he realizes JNAPS is across the field, gets that pass through, and they connect.
Gyro will want to try and make up for that. Put his team in a really, really tough position. Still on the other side of the field. AJ with an opportunity to have the hat trick. Ooh. Able to turn it in. Both teams now fighting for that match point. AJ off the reset. And yeah, Drees has now figured it out. He's dialed into how to deal with AJ. You just go. Don't think about it. If you see him doing flips, you're already scored on.
Oh, and the team pinch. Oh my goodness, that's a clear. But like you said, Drees, that's exactly how you want to do it. No hesitation. If a player like AJ's behind the ball, you just got to jump up and fly at it. I mean, at the end of the day,
you're the obstacle at that point. Leave someone else to save it.
100%. You just need to make sure your second man in line behind you can get a better challenge.
Gyro off the backboard. JNaps our clears. Has got Chicago on that left-hand side, but couldn't quite find the angle for him. And FaZe saw the team pinch earlier from G2, wanted one of their own. Now to the other side of the field. 60 seconds left. Opportunity. Nobody there quite quick enough, and it becomes a race between AJ and Chicago. JNaps now up with Drees on the other side of the field, who does start to rotate back. Sees that the play isn't quite available for him. And Lucian, 0 boost. This would take something to try and create a play. Can't quite do so. JNaps, he's got himself in a bit of trouble. Another block from Gyro.
Here we go.
He's over to the wall. Looking for a big play for himself. He's got the block. It's off the backboard. Who's going to be there for his team? It's another setup play there from JNaps, and Chicago stays back.
I like the patient play, though. He wants to just keep this ball in the opponent's half. If you're Chicago in that situation,
demo,
just stay calm, get the demo, maybe get the follow-up off the backboard. I thought he had it. The read looked so clean, but it was just wide.
And the bounce just kept the ball glued to the wall. Couldn't find the angle. FaZe have got away with another one. Also now off the backboard, they might have a chance to score this and win the game in regulation.
Oh,
demo,
no way, AJ!
And he scores!
The man you want behind the ball, taking this shot. The 0-second buzzer beater. It's AJ to put FaZe Clan up. My goodness, a hat trick to his name as well.
This must be one of the most annoying teams in the world to play.
What is going on?
How do you deal with this? I mean, imagine you're G2. You are well in control. You are doing everything well. You have set up a play like that. And yet again, FaZe survive the onslaught, score on the counter, and now have 2 match points. You see G2 taking the timeout. I think a lot of that is just going to be trying to put that last game out of their own minds.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. What is with FaZe?
It felt like this is what FaZe were waiting for the entire series, though. FaZe are, stuck on their own goal line, forcing themselves to get this crazy last-second heroic save, and then they finally do connect on it. Now the question is, how do we transition out? For FaZe, they figured that final factor, that transition, getting a pass forward, and then setting up AJ. That's what you need to do. Explode out of your own half, and they have completely cracked the code. We see that here. And AJ, what a performance. 7 shots, 3 goals. He has been, by far, the carry for this FaZe offense.
And FaZe. I've run out of ways to describe this right now. Obviously, we're not allowed to be fans of teams. I can imagine being a fan of FaZe is certainly a fun and not quite so fun prospect these days. That is just heart pumping all the time. My goodness, always on the verge of being scored on, and yet the goals just come out of nowhere. So for G2, need 2 games in a row now, and again, another reminder, this is for the seeding spots for the championship.
Well, and the extra threat about this playstyle from FaZe is that not only is it working against you if you're G2, but they're also getting in your heads, because you've seen Drees as the 3rd man. He's been mind gamed twice and then left alone several other times. Chicago has been a little bit off on the striking. You can tell mentally G2 are feeling that weight and feeling the pressure that this FaZe playstyle of staying on the goal line, baiting you in, making you think you're going to get a goal, and then they come at you with full force. You've got to recover if you're G2.
Well, that was what they just tried to do with that timeout. Let's see if it has had any effect. JNaps off the flip reset. Might want to put that one low. And scored on that twice so far, by the ball just being faked underneath them. They would have liked to have got at least 1 back. AJ to that wall, immediately challenged.
Oh my goodness, the double demo too from FaZe. This is too much. AJ, he's going forward. How is this ball not left the FaZe half? I'm not quite sure. JNaps another win. That was ridiculous offense from G2. Even whenever 2 players get demoed, you're able to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, the positioning always on point for them. Always got somebody in the way. need the goals. Chicago does at least get the transition for them. Dries with a touch. AJ and Gyro both double commit. That now puts them in difficult positions as AJ once again recovers. I'd like to see anybody else but him on the goal line if you're G2.
Oh, man. We can't be seeing these double commits, though, if you're FaZe Clan. That is what plagued them in the first few games. While you're going for goal line saves and you want to, you know, like you said, Shogun, sit at the edge waiting to get that explosive counterattack in. If you have one double commit, G2 are going to be in position every time it seems like to counterattack and get a punish.
JNAPS with an opportunity. He's got it on net.
Oh.
And nobody was back. Gyro thought somebody on his team would at least launch a challenge.
There it is.
But as you mentioned, Turtle, those double commits have come back to bite them.
Every single time you see a FaZe Clan double commit, there's somebody from G2 Esports ready to have one simple, easy shot on net. The positioning is something you cannot compliment enough for G2 Esports. They're too good at it, and reading the play is JNAPS' first go-to move.
Now it's from the corner, Chicago. Can't quite get the ball to Dries, who was too far forward. He's going to try and set himself up, and what a cheeky lob that was! Right over the top of the keeper.
I mean, there's not much you can do about it. You're in net, and you think Chicago is going to take it into the corner himself, but the power slide to get under the ball and then have a nice little chip shot. That's how it's done from Chicago.
Just bopped the ball over the top of him.
Yeah.
Didn't have to overcomplicate it. 2 goals up. G2 have maybe got a little bit of a memory from this position, but surely they can't drop yet another one. Now off the backboard, Illusion. Over to the wall.
Oh, maybe something here from...
Chicago over to the corner yet again. Good clear, Dries wants to keep that pressure going. He's managed to do so. Great recovery from him on the wall. As FaZe doing what they like to do best. Sit up, sit back, soak up the pressure, and find a way out. As there's the shot. Needed targets off the post. And this time FaZe are the ones that are curved with an awkward bounce off the post.
That's just painful. This time, the bounce, it's going in full force against FaZe Clan. It was benefiting them earlier, and Dries couldn't get the read. This one just went all the way to the other side. FaZe Clan, how do you even predict that?
BJ already up. That's off the post again, and Chicago's touch takes it away from Illusion, who wants to move in. Now Chicago can now try and break away, but, well, it'll do so very slowly with 0 boost. As Gyro looking to relaunch that FaZe attack, and it's straight over to AJ. Somehow JNAPS is able to read it.
How did he get that prediction? JNAPS is so good at reading the play. I continue to be amazed by this man, his positioning, and not only the positioning, but the pre-jump. And we thought it was the one, another missed shot, and then the opportunity comes through, but JNAPS, of course, you're there and you're ready to capitalize.
And again, it's the goalkeeping that has been massive. They are covering angles that is all right, you can score. We'll leave you a gap. I'm going to just make sure that you have to hit the most perfect shot. And it's an interesting take on defensive save, but thus far has been working. G2 a minute and a half away from sending us to Champions Field. And when we're getting close to midnight, maybe sending me towards a little bit of a noise complaint come tomorrow morning. Sorry, neighbors, but this has been more than worth it. North America delivering in spades today.
Noise complaints and FaZe Clan's play style, I think those two go hand in hand.
I'll just show them clips of what we've seen today and just go, but do you see this, mate? They will understand immediately.
100%. Just send them the link, the little clip. That's all they need. But for FaZe Clan, a minute left. I mean, there's a chance here, Shogun. All right, I'm not counting them out yet.
Certainly not, especially with G2, who admittedly this weekend are starting to shed away some of their previous complaints that they were a good team, but my goodness, they fall apart on occasion. Maybe not quite doing so with the 2-goal loss earlier on. They're going to want to try and keep a hold of this. 30 seconds left. Chicago wants to control it, does so magnificently. 5 seconds off the clock with that, and underneath another goalkeeper. G2 putting that timeout to good use and have used experience to just dominate this game. A couple of opportunities have gone over to FaZe, but they are not going to quite manage it. And for the second time today, they're forced to Game 7.
And there's absolutely been a handful of opportunities that FaZe Clan, you know, would like another look at. You've got AJ, 4 shots, 0 goals. I believe all 4 of those are going to be opportunities that he should have put away. I think FaZe Clan could have easily tied this game up. So that's how you know going into game 7, you're only going to get a nail biter of a final matchup between these two teams.
And we'll remind you yet again, waiting over in the grand finals is NRG. The amount we've been talking today about just qualifying for the championships, it's almost easy to forget that we've still got a huge tournament going on in NRG, ready and waiting over there. As for FaZe, I'm sure they would like to see 21 games played today by heading on over to that series. And for G2, still need that big breakout performance. We've been waiting for them to win something massive. We've seen how good they can be. This is their opportunity to do so, but they've got to get through FaZe.
I mean, this could absolutely be their one opportunity, their one chance now. You're going into game 7. I think it's all going to come down to JKnaps. He's got to have the same performance. I have been a huge fan of the way he's played Chicago, then going for the mind game. But JKnaps, to me, is the foundation right now for G2 Esports. If I'm on FaZe Clan, I might just try and demo him alone. Honestly, I'm just trying to take him out.
Yeah, for me, if I'm looking over on FaZe, I've got to go towards Illusion. And the reason why is because we know what we're getting from Gyro. We know Gyro can be a little bit iffy, but we know what we're getting from AJ. Illusion has 2 modes: hitting the ball super clean and barely hitting the ball. And they're going to need the former this time around rather than the latter as we get ourselves into game number 7, Champions Field, for the 2nd time today for FaZe. And they want the same result as they got last time. It was a scrappy affair last time. That was the only difference maker was AJ being, well, AJ. Only the only way to describe him on occasion. Chicago takes the shot. And Illusion, we're happy that he's already got the rotation back, and even happier to see the shot was off target.
Oh, yeah. Nice little glimpse to see how fast that this G2 defense can get that counterattack in. Chicago looking to rotate out and get a demo, and now he sets up the 2v1. Maybe he could have faked out Illusion, but Illusion
could have gone for Illusion.
Oh, yeah, it was there.
So difficult, though, to make that decision. You know, pretty much. Oh, wow, it's just nobody for so long. G2, everybody thought, I'll get myself into defensive position. Nobody was left to challenge it.
Oh,
and Gyro, so smart, leaves it. I'm sure Illusion was shouting at him, don't hit that one. I've got it.
Oh, yeah.
He's up by 1.
That's a painful one there for JKnaps. He was so close on the rotation back. He was stuck in midfield trying to get in position. A player, you know, he's normally in position to save it and clutch out a positional shot and or save for his team, but unfortunately he was just seconds away from being in position and getting that touch.
Chicago bounces the ball back out. What a play! Chicago to JKnaps, the old school duo coming up clutch.
And this has been off of the demos. We got 1 demo from Chicago, the turnaround in offense, and then Drees piles through to take out another player. G2 Esports, they tie it up.
I get why Drees did it. I don't think that play was getting there. I think that was just disrespectful, really, just to take him out like that. Drees, let's get their demo. AJ, oh my goodness, he almost managed to catch Drees on his way through. AJ showing up clutch when they desperately need him, and my goodness, do FaZe desperately need him.
Well, we didn't even see Drees take the bait there that was given to him. Normally, he would have hesitated a bit on that challenge, but you can tell he has completely changed up his mentality. He's feeling more confident going to these challenges, and he's holding it down on defense.
The backboard, Gyro. Clears long. Chicago, cover is not great from him, but Illusion might have actually been a little bit out of position. Now more demos coming through. Unfortunately for G2, not for them. Now Gyro escapes the other side of the field. Chicago and Drees, both players back. JKnaps does leave it for Drees. FaZe's opportunity. Haven't seen much of the blue side of the field so far this game. I want to try and make this one count, and that challenge could have gone anywhere. Now the follow-up, it's off the backboard, double commit. Means AJ's got to get this perfect. It's bounced off the crossbar, it's bounced on the line, and G2 have survived it.
I don't even know how FaZe Clan have survived the previous attack as well. We saw a demo from Gyro, and then G2 come out, and they get a couple of physical plays themselves and barely hold on. We're still tied up, half the game left.
Oh, and Chicago wanted to outpace AJ, couldn't quite manage that. 0 boost for Illusion, a position he's got used to today. It's a position that they have worked out very well, despite letting us know
what is going on.
And I have no idea how on earth FaZe were brave enough to let that one be.
What? I don't even think they knew it was going to go off the crossbar. 2 players had committed, and then there's nobody home. G2, it's a free one.
Well, we're going to try and play Where is FaZe on this, as Illusion tried to turn around.
Oh, man.
Realized he was the last one back and just misread it. Couldn't find the challenge. And now G2 have got the lead. 2 minutes 16 left on the clock.
That one hurts. I mean, you're a Lucian in that situation. You're thinking you got to just stall a little bit of time, and somebody will find that rotation into the back of the net. But there was nobody home and ready to make that save.
Some double commits. They have lingering effects. Dree's going to power that one to the bottom corner. Have G2 done enough?
This is starting to get a little bit overwhelming for FaZe. You get one clear out. Gyro was going for the boost, and he turned the wrong way. But even then, I don't think you should be going for boost in that situation. You've got to be a bit more passive.
Yeah, especially with where AJ was over in the corner. Yes, he did hit the ceiling that dropped the ball over to Drees, but at the same time, he's got Chicago right in front of him. So his two options were either ceiling or Chicago, and he didn't really like either of them. Gyro now removed from the play. Resolution does pick the ball up. Chicago right on top of him. To the corner. Another double commit. Gyro will at least get himself back down to the ground. But it's been a massive problem for them, and it was almost another open shot for Drees. Now a good challenge there from Gyro. You're going to see AJ power himself down to the other side of the field, try and see if he can get himself a decent challenge. But Drees using the whole height of the pitch, just glides away from the defense.
G2 Esports, they are so calm right now on the defensive side. We just saw a little pass from Chicago to Drees in the corner. Now there's some offense for FaZe Clan. This could lead into something, but it gets pinched to the other side. Valuable seconds wasted off the clock.
Oh, that's back down. Drees snatched away from him. And now it bounces so awkwardly for everybody. Lucian on the other side of the field used like a spear to get rid of that ball off the hit.
Chicago. Oh, maybe. Nice little pass to Drees. The connection is there. The passing has been on point to the midfield from JNaps all the way to Drees, and he lays off on that challenge. They are wasting so much time, Shogun.
35 seconds left, and
another one.
Goal lead, not quite. Lucian keeps it out. AJ to the ceiling. He needs a big play. Goes for the musty. Gyro back foot.
Oh my goodness.
Post, and it hits the crossbar as well.
What?
Everywhere but the back of the net.
I can't believe my eyes right now. How did that not squeeze in? FaZe, they need something, surely.
No.
They're finally going to get one. Okay, there's a chance here. 13 seconds for FaZe.
There's no way. There's no way, Tom.
No, there's a chance.
There is. This is the best part
Game
of our esports.
7 OT, baby. We're going
to see whether or not FaZe can take it. 13 seconds on the clock.
Oh, they need a good kickoff.
But the kickoff is a little bit behind AJ. Lucian wants to get over to Gyro, couldn't quite find him. And now AJ's got to try and pick up the ball and go coast to coast with it. Can't quite do so.
No way.
Play. Gyro has to keep the ball alive. They're in their own corner. They're as far away from the net as they could possibly be. Pinch means Gyro's got to chase. Has he got the boost to do so? It rolls across the wall. Chicago tasked with ending the game. Has he quite done it? It stays alive. And we go yet again round the rosy when it comes to the field. But Chicago couldn't get on top of the ball. Doesn't drop it down just yet. 0 second play still goes on. He's trying to bump AJ. He's not quite done it. Gyro now in position. So is Drees. And Lucian tasked with keeping the game alive.
AJ.
Back to AJ. To Lucian. He's beat to it. And G2 secure grand finals.
Oh my goodness.
And I finally get to take a breath. Oh my goodness. What a series.
I didn't know how long you can keep going, Shogun. I thought the ball was never going to drop to the ground.
I think how long they can keep going was a great way of describing FaZe this entire tournament. How resilient were they? And they are going to unfortunately drop out at the final stage before getting to the grand finals. But for G2, this is the chance, boys. NRG wait.
The time has come. Drees, he's been putting in the hours, the time, the practice, all of that is coming to fruition here now with G2 Esports. You can tell that the chemistry has now been established. It's remarkable because Drees previously, maybe he'd go for a little bit more of a selfish play or he'd be a bit nervous. We even saw some hesitation earlier on in this individual series whenever he was last man back going for the challenges. But the crazy thing is he was able to fix those issues and stop hesitating like that. There was no issue with that after the timeout. And I think that allowed him to compose himself, come down a little bit, calm down, come back to earth. And now he's ready to go into the finals, Shogun. This is one of the best series, but I can't even believe or wait to see how the grand finals is going to go.
I mean, it is going to be incredible. And you're 100% correct. Drees, I feel, maybe was overthinking it earlier on and instead just decided to go for Operation Go Fast at the ball. And he's very good at that plan. So for G2, they have made it through. They've got one more best of 7, separating themselves from being major champions. And we're going to get to it after this break.